right, we are back with another edition of the HEF podcast. That is the podcast of the Home Education Foundation. The Home Education Foundation is an organization started by the beloved Brenda Dickinson, who has been the voice for parents in the Capitol for going on 40 years now. She just retired this year and passed the torch to me, Jason Crawford, the new leadership at the Home Education Foundation. But Brenda has been an amazing advocate for parents, dating all the way back to the early 1980s, when home education became legal in the state of Florida in 1985 due to the work that her and many of the other early pioneers put into it. Her husband, Craig Dickinson, being one of those people as well, who really pushed and fought and prodded for home education rights. That's the rights of parents to teach their children as they see fit. We're extremely thankful for her, and we always like to mention her at the beginning of every podcast. We also like to tell parents in this free state of Florida, thank you for your support. We really appreciate how you've come through for us so diligently. We recently did our first annual fundraiser. That's right, Brenda Dickinson did a lot of the work that she did over the last 40 years without even having proper fundraising underneath her. Just an amazing testament to the passion and the drive and the commitment that she's had. But we're also thankful for these parents who showed up for our first ever annual fundraiser in August, which was a donation match campaign where a home education family reached out and said that they would challenge other home education families to pledge their support or give their support, and they would match up to $6,000, and they did. So we will be looking for, I apologize for the stuffy nose, I'll be looking for another one of those as we come across this year, and we have some really cool plans in place to allow a student from the home education community in Florida to design next year's challenge coin. What you're seeing now is a challenge coin for this year. And we're thankful for those parents. We're also thankful to our top sponsors and our title sponsor, Arete, FPEA, Fisher Precious Metals, and TBHC Group for being with us and sponsoring the work that we do. Top sponsors and title sponsors are businesses that are local to Florida who believe in freedoms and rights, and they love to see parents flex those rights and engage their own children in education, and so they show that support for us because that's the kind of work that we support, and they love it. We also have, I would say we have Brenda with us today, but we don't. It's just me. I do have a nice head cold coming, though. That's great. We're going to make today's short and simple. I want to kind of wrap up the end of this year with some positive messages, things that I think are important, but maybe you saw some of them, maybe not. We'll go ahead and get started. I will say that my wife is not joining me today, nor is Brenda. Brenda has something wrong with her voice due, it's the weather and different things. I think she got a hold of some vinegar or something, and it really just hurt her throat. And so she's not with us. But happy holidays to her and well wishes to her as well. My wife is sick and is also pregnant with our fifth, and we're due any minute now. So if the stream shuts off and I don't reappear, that is probably why. We'll be headed straight in if I get that call. Either way, let's dive right into what we've got prepared for today. So it's the holidays. And I don't know what it's like in every single home education family out there, but I do know that my kids are still working hard. We do year-round schooling. So message to kiddos, if you're out there and your mom and dad are asking you to read and write and still work hard, respect it, and don't waste any time complaining because that's time you'll never get back. Just power right through it and get on with your holiday cheer. That's the message I have for the young ones out there. There's so many cool things with the families all together during the holidays that end up happening. Make those memories and enjoy them. Just as holidays hit, so did a letter from our Commissioner of Education, Anastasios Koumoutsas. If you did not see that letter, it was on our blog. It's still there. It was on our X. It was in our story on Facebook and on Instagram. And first, it was in our Discord. So if you are not in our HEF Discord yet, I would highly recommend that you jump into our Discord. Oftentimes I get calls from parents and they'll say things like, well, why is nobody talking about this? Or why is nobody talking about that? Or why isn't somebody coordinating something local here in our county? And I will say, it seems like that to you because you're not in our Discord. We have a channel for every county in there where parents can get together and coordinate efforts or communicate together on important issues, freedoms and opportunities in their area. Sometimes it's mentorship programs or apprenticeships people didn't know they were available. Sometimes it's field trips or really cool happenings that are going on locally. And sometimes it's school board meetings like Alachua County. And whatever it is, there is a place where all that can be coordinated, and we invite you to it. It's in our Discord. We've got channels for scholarship recipients. We've got channels for home education families that do it the traditional way and don't want to touch the scholarships. We've got veterans with 20 years experience or more in there ready to share. So get in there and ask questions and learn. That's how we all learn. We all just ask questions. We've got channels for legislative updates. So, if you want to know what's going on with legislation, like what laws are being changed, what laws, how are they being changed, why are they being changed, and all of that kind of thing. We don't thrive on opinions. We share facts and information and breakdowns. Even some of the Senate staff recently remarked to me when I caught up with them that they had read some of our articles and breakdowns of the information, and they were impressed with how thorough it was. So we share facts and links to resources and sources. So if you're interested in knowing what's going on and not being tossed, to and fro by some random clickbait headline, the HEF Discord is the place to be. And as we round into 2026, where everything's about to get really, really fun and fierce, I would highly recommend that you join it and be in there. That way you've got a place to go and turn to where you can feel confident about being in the know. All right. So back to our commissioner's letter. I thought it was fantastic, a fantastic way to round out 2025 from the Department of Education's point of view. For those of you who may not know, Commissioner Stasi, as those who are familiar with him have permission to call him, he has been a bulldog. Maybe shark is a better metaphor. He's had a blood scent trail and he has been on it. And he has an uncanny inability to sit still. He's always hunting for a way to bring parents right into the forefront of education, public, private, and the ultimate form of private education, which is home education. And he's not afraid to be direct and support parents. He's not afraid to call parents into responsibilities that comes with the freedoms, and he's not afraid to quote scripture and show that God's first to him, which I found really inspiring by reading through it. Let me actually just read this excerpt real quick. So if you want to check out where it's at, it would be in our blog. So if you'd go to our blog, you might see this. It's under information and blog on our website, and then you would see the 2025 winter letter. And I'll read this excerpt out because I think this is great. Commissioner Koumoutsas says, "The importance of family-led education and thoughtful choice has long been recognized. Proverbs 22:6 reminds us, direct your child onto the right path, and when they're older, they will not leave it. This wisdom reflects the freedom and responsibility parents have to guide their children's education in a way that aligns with their values, beliefs, aspirations for the future. As the second half of the year begins, I encourage you to continue building on the strong foundation you have established. Your leadership, planning, and daily engagement support not only academic growth, but also independence, character, and lifelong learning." I just think that's an absolute fantastic message to wrap up 2025 with, and I would thank him for putting that out there, and thank you for sending it to us directly so that we could send it to all of our home education families who, I love that we have that kind of connection, that he would send that to us so that we can be, putting that out there so parents will know. I think it's brilliant, though, that he's not afraid to put parents first. He's not afraid to call parents out to the responsibilities of their freedoms. And I think it's awesome that he quotes scripture, putting his own faith, out there. He's, some parents will teach in a way that don't align with his particular views and values. And I think it's interesting how he phrases it, where he states that the wisdom reflects the freedom and responsibilities parents have to guide their children's education in a way that aligns with their values, beliefs, and aspirations for the future. He commends parents for their leadership and planning and daily engagement and support, but he recognizes that not everyone's going to share the exact values he has, and that his mission and what he's putting out there is for parents to be able to align their children with their own values and their own beliefs and their own aspirations. And I think that's critical as we move forward to see, it's easy for us to see what someone's doing from one political perspective or another. But taking it at face value and seeing the words for what they are, I really appreciate how he says it, how he lays it out, that it's really truly the parents who are aligning the children with their values and beliefs. And so, let's see. Honestly, I can't really believe that I'm saying it. It sounds like this is like a pep rally for Commissioner Kamoutsas. It's not. And I can't say that I'm saying this, but it's great to have leadership in the Department of Education that is trustworthy. I'm not saying that I trust everything that comes out of the Department of Education, but I'm very much a distrusting person, and I find it best to question everyone, question everything, and find the facts and the sources and the truth. And I find myself daring to ignite a spark of hope and belief in our current leadership. I think that the day that he steps down from leadership from the Department of Education will be one day too soon. I'm really appreciative of his leadership there. So if you're listening, Stasi, from the Home Education Foundation and from all families home educating in the state of Florida, thank you for making parents great again in Florida education. It's been wonderful to see you chomping at the bit and pushing all of those letters out that you do. So, all right, moving on. The Home Education Foundation is still watching Senate Bill 318, which is the big scholarship bill. There is a lot going on with that, and there will be more to come, as the House gets it referred to them, and around the beginning of the year we start to see more movement. Right now everybody's off, so there's no movement, no changes. Everything's coasting at the moment the way that it was. There are a lot of questions about that bill. Some think that bill won't go anywhere. And so some are suggesting that it's not even worth the time to kind of take a look and spend any more time breaking it apart. A lot of those things might end up going into negotiation in between the Senate and the House. So there's some merit to that suggestion or that opinion. But I'm a very watchful and careful person, so I'm going to be keeping my eye on it regardless. And I think the words are critical. What words we choose, what goes into it are critical, and more importantly, the kind of philosophical approach, whether or not we're empowering parents or burying them in paperwork, because there is a fundamental difference. So the Senate Bill 538 is Senator Simon's bill, and it is looking to rewrite the entire 1006.15 statute, which is the Craig Dickinson Act. Many of you will know that because it's the one named after Brenda Dickinson's late husband. And we have had that since 1996, and it is up for a rewrite. They're looking to make some clarifications. I've read through the bill. I don't love it. There are some things that they have quote unquote clarified that I think are actually quote unquote restrictive. So I'm waiting to hear back from him and his team on, what some of the intent behind that language is. And it's already in our Discord. So if you want to go browse it and see what I'm talking about, you can find that bill there. that is something that, as we move closer to the beginning of the year, we're very interested in keeping an eye on. The House companion bill, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. I will say that it is nothing like that bill. So they're companions and they deal with the same statute, but they do not mirror each other. And so I think that as we move forward, you might see some significant changes or amendments that come to that. There's no need to kind of lose our shirts just yet, but we are kind of going back and forth and trying to communicate with him some ideas and options that might be a better fit or might hit their intent and clarify without restricting. So we're watching that one like a hawk as well. If you want to know more about that, hop into our Discord. I will say that the Crawford family is sick. Pretty much everybody in the house has got something. And I don't know if you can hear it in my voice or not, but you probably can. But like I said, Crystal's pregnant, and we're due with our 5th any moment. So this will be a very short podcast episode. We ask you to keep us in your thoughts and prayers. This week is going to be a wild and crazy week in the Crawford house. So we wanted to kind of go ahead and begin wrapping up 2025. Next week, the 29th, I believe, will be the final HEF podcast for 2025. So we've got something special in the works, planned for that, and we hope to wrap up the year with some positive messaging. For now, rest up, hug those close to you, and celebrate all the small moments. You know, this morning I took one of my daughters to breakfast at Waffle House of all places. Wonderful, greasy place. But that girl loves food, and she loved that food. And when I sat next to her, because we don't sit across from each other when I take her out, she wants to sit next to Daddy. And when I took her and I sat next to her and I just looked over at her cute little face, chewing away at that food and smiling and humming and giggling for a brief moment, I forgot about everything wrong with the world and all the things that we fight against and all the constant watchdog stances that we have to take protecting home education rights. And it was just peaceful and joyful and warm. So I hope that all of you have a season of that, peace, joy, and warmth. And without any further ado, I'll let you get back to your Monday, which I know is probably just as busy as mine. So Merry Christmas to all of you, and warm joy to everyone as well. And we will see you on the 29th for the final podcast of 2025. And thank you again to the parents of the free state of Florida for your support, as well as to our top sponsors, Arete, FPEA, Fisher Precious Metals, and TBHC Group. All right, Merry Christmas.